When Stephen Hawking died in March 2018, we all knew we had lost a great and brilliant scientist. People had compared him to Isaac Newton and to Einstein. Today I have with me Professor Richard Bell, who's going to look at Stephen Hawking in a slightly different context and compare him to a different person. He wants to examine the links between Wagner, scientists. Richard, I can make all the links between Stephen Hawking and physicists and cosmologists, but not with Wagner.
Okay, I mean, perhaps I can first of all say it is actually striking how many scientists are actually attracted to the music and the drama of Richard Wagner. It's really quite a... If I can just give you some examples, there's Marcus de Sautoy, Richard Dawkins, Martin Rees, there's Semyon Zeki. These are all, contemporary scientists who actually love Wagner. And perhaps the most famous scientist Wagnerian was Stephen Hawking.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And in fact, it's very, very interesting that I think he got to know Wagner in his teens. Now, when he was diagnosed with motor neuron disease, one of the ways he actually coped with this devastating news was to listen to lots and lots of Wagner at very high volume as well.
Okay.
And one of his favourites was actually the Valkyrie, which is the second opera in the Ring cycle. And many people, of course, know that because of the Ride of the Valkyries. But he was a serious Wagnerian. And he said that on his last day on this earth, he would listen to Wagner and drink champagne. So he was actually very committed Wagnerian. Now, as I say, many scientists are actually attracted to Wagner, and I've often wondered, why is this? I mean, it's also the case that many politicians are attracted, many lawyers are attracted, many people who have stressful jobs are attracted because I think they come home and they just want to, some sort of therapy, I think. But why is it that scientists are so attracted? And Wagner actually said that in his Ring cycle, he was concerned to investigate the essence of the world itself. He was very, very interested in nature, and in fact he read avidly. He would read Hegel, Goethe, Schopenhauer, Kant and so on, and he was very, very interested in the very essence of the world itself. And this may be one reason why Stephen Hawking was attracted, but there's something in Stephen Hawking's cosmology which has a remarkable resonance with a passage in Parsifal. Now, Parsifal is Wagner's last stage work. And in Act 1, there's this amazing line where Gurnemanz says to Parsifal, as they approach the castle of the Grail, "Here time becomes space." Here time becomes space. And many people have actually written about this, whether it's anticipating Einstein. It's probably not really anticipating Einstein, but what is very, very interesting. Let's now look at Hawking's cosmology. Now, obviously, he was working a lot on things like the Big Bang. And I want us to imagine that we're going back in time. So the camera is running backwards to the beginning of the universe. And you could actually imagine sort of a cone, an inverted cone. And you've got a point of the Big Bang. People often talk about a singularity. We've got the time dimension here, and we've got a cone, and so we're imagining here 2 dimensions of space and 1 of time. And the way many people imagine it is that the Big Bang started with this point at the tip of this cone, and then everything expanded out from that. That's a very, very simple way of doing it. Now, what Hawking did, he worked with somebody called Jim Hartle, and he talked about the wave function for the whole universe. So he's bringing in quantum theory here into cosmology. And what he said is that we don't actually have a cone which goes to a single point, but rather the cone comes down and it sort of rounds off, and you never actually reach that point of t equals 0. And the way he put it is that as you go back towards what we think is the Big Bang, time takes on spatial qualities, but it does this gradually. So you end up with all dimensions of space, and time seems to sort of get cut out. And so if you take these words of Gurnemanz, here time becomes space, you get an exact correspondence. Now, I don't know if Stephen Hawking was actually aware of this correspondence, but I actually think this is really quite striking. And so what we find, therefore, with Wagner is that he, especially in the ring cycle, he's very much concerned with with nature, with the essence of the world. And this may be one reason why his music and his drama appeals to people such as Stephen Hawking.
Richard, thank you very much for exploring this very unusual aspect of Stephen Hawking's likes, and also giving us a possible new way of looking at both Wagner and at the whole question of the Big Bang. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.